Big game here, ACC-SEC Challenge. Kentucky is going to host Miami. I did a preview for this for Action Network. I previewed the entire ACC-SEC Challenge. I went game by game with my just quick hitter thoughts, and I'll save my prediction for the end of this segment. But this is a game that I'm really excited for, more excited for after I dove into the matchup a little bit than I was even on paper. And I was pretty excited on paper because these are two big name programs. Miami undefeated right now, although they've had to work for it a little bit. If you look at the scores of these games, doesn't really tell the full story. They've been in some closer games than they should have been, specifically a 6-point home win over FIU a couple weeks ago, but they've held serve ever since, beat a decent UCF team, beat Georgia and Kansas State on a neutral. All in all, this looks very much the team we thought they would be, returning off of a Final Four. No Isaiah Wong, but some explosive offensive firepower and a lot of dudes, for lack of a better word. They're taking on Kentucky, who has a ton of dudes. I think that's the only way to summarize Kentucky right now is they got dudes. They don't have a front court still, but they have guards for days. They have freshman talent for days. This will be one of those 18-year-old versus a bunch of 23-year-olds games. I know you and I are pretty loud that matters a lot in this day and age, so let's start there. How much do you think the experience factor is going to play into Miami's abilities on the road against Big Blue Nation?
So I think that for Miami, because it is on the road and them being older guys, a lot of those guys have played in environments like they're about to go into. So I don't think that'll affect them as much because the game is at Rupp, correct?
Game is at Rupp.
Game's at Rupp. So I don't think that they'll be shaken or thrown off by playing games at Rupp. There's a couple guys on this Miami team that played in big stages in the Final Four, obviously, last year. So I don't think they'll be rattled by that at all. But I will say this. This Kentucky team is good. Like, I don't think people are giving them as much credit. Kentucky is good. I think that, they have a lot of impactful guys on this team, especially as far as backcourt guys. And even though they are young guys, I think they have a lot of impactful players. Today, Evan Miyakawa came out with a top 30 impactful players in the country. Like, I believe it's like BPR rankings is what he calls them. And there was 2 Kentucky players in there, and it wasn't even 2 Kentucky starters. It was Reed Sheppard and Rob Dillingham. So I think they have a lot of pieces. I like what Trey Mitchell can do. I came into this thinking that I would pick Miami, but when I really looked down deep into it, I think that Kentucky at home, they have some guys. I think they're better defensively than this Miami team. I would say that they get the win in this game. I think Kentucky gets the win at home. And I will forever hold on to my Kentucky stock with this team as long as they employ Rob Dillingham as a guard.
I think that's totally fair. For the record, I love both of these teams. These teams are both in my top tier of like teams I love to watch, teams I love to bet on, teams I'm probably going to buy too much stock in before the NCAA tournament gets here. I think this will be a super fun game. You've got 2 teams top 4 in the country in 3-point shooting to start the year. Like we could see thousands of 3 balls go in this game. 2 elite offenses and 2 defenses that are like, okay, right? Like Miami doesn't have a bad defense, but they're worse than Kentucky. And Kentucky's defense, maybe they are the difference in this game. Like if these guys come out hungry, like really locking into guard, I think that could swing this game because I don't think there's any scenario where Miami is locked in on that end. Like this is going to be a we want to outscore you game from Miami. The problem for Kentucky in my mind is I think Miami can outscore Kentucky. I do. I keep coming back to it, man. I know I said it. The age stuff matters to me. Like, and not that it's an indictment of Kentucky all season long, but if you look at what's happened with Kentucky this year, they've played 2 teams out of the 6 games their season so far. They've played 2 teams in the top 175, 2 teams with a pulse. Kansas, who they outplayed for most of the game, and then they kind of pissed down their leg, and Kansas's vets locked in and won the game. St. Joe's, who they basically left the door wide open for that entire game. Kentucky had to win in overtime in Rupp Arena against the non-top 100 team in the country. So, like, looking at that, pulling them out, I know they've been good in blowouts against the other teams, but, like, I don't think we have seen Kentucky play well for a full 40 minutes and close a game against anybody with a pulse. I think Miami has a lot more than a pulse. And I think it's notable that you sit here and you step back and you say, oh, we think Kentucky's played really well this season, but they've played really well and still had some bad results. I don't think Miami's played super well this season, but they're still getting the good results because these are some dudes who just like know how to win. Like Nigel Pack and Wooga Poplar and Norchad have all been through these battles, just finding ways to win all the way to the Final Four last season. So I think these are big game guys. I think Nigel Pack's, sorry for using this term, I think he's licking his lips looking at the little 18-year-old freshman guards, right? Like I think he's ready to feast in this game. I think Norchad is the nightmare matchup. Who the hell is going to keep Norchad off the boards in this game?
I'm not totally positive about that.
I don't think there is one, right? And that's like, just do a little exercise for me real quick. Let's go person by person through this game. Are you taking Nigel Pack or are you taking DJ Wagner?
Nigel Pack.
Are you taking Wooga Poplar or are you taking, who's their starting two? You pick. Is it Dillingham, Reeves?
Probably Reeves.
Okay, are you taking Wooga or are you taking Reeves? Wooga's been a lot better.
Wooga has been a lot better.
It's been a lot better.
I think I'd still take Reeves though.
Okay, I'm taking Wooga for the record. Are you taking Matthew Cleveland or are you taking Justin Edwards?
Yeah, I'm taking Justin Edwards.
I'm taking Matthew Cleveland. Are you taking Norchad or are you taking Trey Mitchell?
I'm taking Trey Mitchell.
That's crazy. That's really disrespectful to Norchad.
I like all these guys though.
Okay. I like them too. I just like when I line them up, I'm taking all four of Miami's four best players over Kentucky's four. And that scares me. Like, I think if Kentucky does win this game, they got to do it with depth, with like Dillingham and Shepard doing some stuff in addition to the other four. Because I don't think the four
which they've shown to do.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what? It only takes one game for the young pups, the young 18-year-olds to announce themselves on the scene. Would it not be fitting for coming off of the St. Joe's thing and everyone kind of being like, oh, they had a dogfight with St. Joe's, that they come out and announce themselves at home, everyone watching in the ACC-SEC challenge, and they have a really good game against the older guys who have been to the Final Four?
It definitely would be nice. It could happen. I'm not putting it past
you love a good storyline, Gregory.
I like this Kentucky team. I thought the coming out party for DJ Wagner was going to be the Champions Classic, and then he went 1 for 12. So until I see him,
he did have a good game last game against Marshall.
Against who?
We are.
Noted. Yeah, until I see it in a big game. Let me just remain a little skeptical, and let me go with the guys who have been great in every big game they've played in the last calendar year. What do you think the spread's going to be? The spread's not out for this as far as I know right now. KenPom has this as a 6-point Kentucky favored game. I feel like the betting line might be more like 8 or 9.
8 or 9 to Miami?
Yeah, like Kentucky's favored by 8 or 9. That's what I would cap it at, is my guess.
Oh, I'm a bad capper, as you know very, very well. But if I use my Carter capping skills on this, I think this should be like, because Kentucky's at home, it should be like closer to pick 'em, shouldn't it? Like, isn't this kind of two evenly matched teams?
No, you are bad at capping. Kentucky's going to be favored at home. They're favored.
I know, but I'm saying like it should be like 3.5, 4.5, not 6 or 8.
Got it. I think being at home is going to push it higher. Is where I'm at, but maybe not.
Well, in that case, I can't get on Miami fast enough.
Yeah. What's the number that you would feel good about taking Miami at?
If I'm getting anything 7 or above, I take Miami. Okay.
That's where I'm at too. Also like the money line. Just want to throw that out there. I'm just saying.
That's gonna if it's 9 points and we're getting like Miami plus whatever, like what would that be if it's plus 9? Like 200?
Why don't you guess?
Oh, God damn it. This is bad. No, it would have to be
more than plus 200.
For real?
Yeah, it's a 9-point spread. I don't want to give an exact number because I'll be wrong too, but plus 200 is shallower than that.
More, yeah, I'm trying to think of like when I bet Michigan State when they were plus 9 or whatever it was. But yeah, I would be all over Miami if I get 7 or more.
Okay. All right, go Canes. That's where I'm at. Sorry, BBN. I'm sure if I'm wrong, which I very well may be with this game, then we'll come talk about it. We're going to have the recaps on the Sleepers Media channel after every single big game.
Kentucky wins this basketball game. Miami has a shot to win it. Wooga Poplar takes the shot and he misses.
Ooh, yeah, you're big into the narratives right now. And then we have to come on and talk about why is Wooga taking the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I think Norchad finishes with 26 rebounds in this game. We'll see y'all for the recap.